Namaskar and welcome to Golden Epaulettes podcast by Pilots for Pilots. My name is Ronak. We are in conversation with Captain Nipun Jain, who is an FAA certified instructor, also a DGCA license holder. Going ahead and asking him a few more questions. Captain Nipun, thank you again. Well, another thing that comes to my mind is I would like to ask you when an Indian student dreams, aspires to go to the United States to do their flight training, are there any particular, apart from having knowledge of the subject knowledge, are there any particular qualities which we are looking at they should definitely have, which are like non negotiable for them to succeed in their aviation career? And what do you have to say about that?
Students should also be self motivated because once you're in US, nobody is chasing you. You have to initiate everything on your own. You have to be a self starter. You have to be self motivated, and you have to be very self disciplined too. Discipline is something, if you are disciplined, if you are a person who can wake up and make your bed, then you will be the same person when you are doing the pre-flight checks. You will not leave anything. You are the person who will always be doing the post-flight walk around and check that nothing is wrong. You will not leave your cell phone in the aircraft. So these are the things that is very important for the student especially when they are training, because a lot of students back in India are very well pampered by the parents, and when they go to US, then they find a different ball game altogether. While the students from the other countries, they are fairly self-dependent and they have that kind of attributes.
Have you noticed a difference between Indian students and other international students?
Yes,
Yeah,
an
we.
international student will figure out A to Z on his own. Getting a car, getting a housing, filling the forms, doing paperwork, signing documentation.
On
They
the
will
other
be
hand, an Indian
they
student,
will be very natural.
they would be very natural.
They'll be very natural with that. But an Indian student will ask you a lot of things. For them, it will be unexpected to do a lot of things. A lot of students are like, "Is there nobody to clean my room?" So we're like, "No, it doesn't work that way in US." So it comes like a shock for them. So it's a little different, but then once you get self disciplined, it also shows on your flying. You can literally hold that headings, you can literally hold the altitudes, and you become a very better person.
Here, I'd like to ask you, have there been instances when students have gone back without the completion of their training because although they had the knowledge, they were able to fly the aircraft, but the other factors, like the ones you mentioned, were, not in place for them?
Yes, so motor skills is something which plays a vital role. A person with a good motor skills can solo in literally 15 to 20 hours. But one with a bad motor skill can as well take as much as 80 to 90 hours to just get a solo. And we have seen that. Yes, a lot of people have this fear of height. Then air sickness plays a vital role again. So again, what I recommend is, start driving cars. Once you have done with your 10 plus 2, start driving cars. Yes, you should also be acquainted to a lot of speed. Um, just go to the tallest buildings and you just see down there and be comfortable with the height. So these are the things. Swimming is a very good hobby to pursue as a pilot. There can be instances where you want to ditch the aircraft and you should know to swim so that you are comfortable in the water. You can save yourself and also the lives of the passengers.
So, safe to say that fears like claustrophobia, air sickness, fear of heights, etc., it's very safe to say that along with having a certain knowledge base, a very concrete knowledge base, these attributes also have to be overcome somehow. It's the profession which makes you overcome that.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
And there have been instances that people have been able to not complete their training and they have had to go back home because there was something lacking apart from just the knowledge, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
There had been some rare instances
Rare,
where we do try to fix the student, but the student gives up.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Understood. All right, Captain Nipun, in continuation, what are the different stages of flying training one expects to go through? And how does a typical day in a life of a trainee pilot would look like?
All right. So, see, your training starts with private pilot license. The private pilot license is when you do flying with visual references. So we call it VFR, visual flight rules. We follow the visual rules and we fly the aircraft. Something similar to driving a car, where we see the traffic, we see the landmarks, and with the visual references, the major part being the eyes. So with the eye contact and
Match a
visual,
reference to a
yes,
map.
yes,
Yeah.
visual references are used to fly the aircraft, similar as driving a car. So that is the first phase of flight, and this is the most enjoyable phase. Yes, it is very nice to see checkpoints with your eyes, flying above a building or a lake.
To be able to spot something and be like, this is the same thing on the map. You feel
Yes.
confident
Yeah.
that you navigated right.
Yes. There are beautiful golf courses where you can take references, and that is how you fly VFR. Yes. So that's the initial part.
Right.
And this is called pilotage, the technical term for it. Yes. So initially, as a VFR pilot, you're flying with pilotage and dead reckoning. Yeah.
Dead reckoning, right.
Yes. And then you come to the instrument phase. Now, the instrument phase is totally you are blindfolded because there is clouds in front of you.
Put a hood.
Yes. So simulated flights are when you have a hood, and in US even real IFR flights are very common. My first instrument flight was a real IFR flight. After the sim sessions, the weather was bad and I was into a total IMC condition, and that is when I did my first approach.
That's awesome.
So yes, so that's totally, you are flying with some kind of calculations. Totally, you are dependent on the flight instrument. Totally automation, and that is real airline flying.
Yeah. And I know for a fact, I'd add something here. If you try to be over smart, or if you try to be like a smart ass here, you want to, see under the hood, or, just be, not, just a little naughty about it. Your instructors, some of them are smarter. They will know their position. Obviously, they're more experienced, and they will cover the whole screen with, newspapers or anything, and you won't be able to see anything.
Yes.
So to think you can escape, instrument flying, or aid it, it's not possible. I don't think it is.
That's not possible.
And one must do it well, because that is the flying which continues as an airline pilot.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Because once you are above 15,000 feet,
right,
there's no point of VFR.
Right.
So IFR is the most important part of your training, and because US having such a good infrastructure,
yes,
you can literally fly the approaches. Starting with the departure phases, you can fly the standard instrument departures in the controlled airspace. You can get radar vectors for departures. You can fly ODPs, that is obstacle departure procedures, in an uncontrolled airport. And you have multiple departure procedures which you practice. Then you have the airways, where you have different airways. You can just fly in the center of the airways, VOR to VOR navigation. Basically, so that's en route flying.
Right. Basically, large amount of exposure, even as a student pilot, the kind of exposure you would have in some place only as an airline pilot. Perhaps you end up getting that exposure a little early on, because there are a lot of facilities available and they're well maintained, and you can actually utilize them and make it a part of your training, instead of being just startled by, what a VOR approaches, when you start flying as an airline pilot, right?
Yep. You literally land adjacent to the airliner.
Yes.
And you have the same facility available to you.
Exposure. Next level.
That's a next level exposure. And you can
do you provide that at Chino SoCal?
Yes. that Los Angeles airspace has so many options, so many ILS facilities, VR facilities. Even we have GPS landing systems available there, which is the most high-tech technology.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Well, that was Captain Nipun Jain with us, who is the India representative of SoCal Aviation in Los Angeles, California. It was very interesting talking to him, knowing about all there is to aviation at SoCal Aviation and other airfields in the United States. Please like, share, comment, and if you have more information, please contact Golden Epaulettes Aviation.